we had a ribbon cutting in October last year, so it was when we were kind of outside again. It was for that art gallery being put in. So JB, this is, and so I introduced her, and JB goes, "You want to do it for Sarah's Eyes Left?" So on whatever the October holiday, so JB took Sarah around to the apartments that were on, and he's like explaining construction material and finances. Well, sure. No, we have the building trades. The building trades that we're doing.
Good afternoon, everybody. Finally, this wonderful day is here. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our opening ceremony and ribbon cutting of our new elementary school. My name is Thomas Smith. I am the Executive Director of Facilities for Allentown School District. And on behalf of the Allentown School District students and staff, it is a great honor and personal pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to this new school and to our community members for helping to fulfill our mission of leading our students to success through the support and involvement of our families and our community. We begin our formal program with the presentation of colors by the William Allen High School NJROTC Color Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of colors and remain standing as the William Allen High School Choral performs our national anthem.
Forward, march. Left turn, march. Color guard, roll. Freeze at color.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Carry, colors. Ready, cut. Forward, march.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Once again, welcome. Please permit me to introduce our distinguished guests. First, the Allentown School District Board of Directors. President Nancy Wilt, Vice President Nicholas Miller, Sarah Jane Brace, Audrey Matheson, Lisa Conover, Mr. Charles Thiel, Phoebe Harris, Cheryl Johnson-Watts, and Linda Vega. Allentown School District Administration with us today, Acting Superintendent Jennifer Ramos, Deputy Superintendent of Equity, Accountability, and School Improvement, Dr. Lucretia Brown, and Executive Director of Elementary Education, Jennifer Bryant. Our honored guests, the Honorable Pennsylvania State Senator Patrick M. Brown, Pennsylvania State Representative Peter Schweier, representing Pennsylvania State Representative Michael Schlossberg is Jeff Brace, Lehigh County Executive Philip Armstrong, representing Congresswoman Susan Wild is Selena Winchester, City of Allentown Mayor, the Honorable Ray OConnell, Lee Butz, Chairman, Alvin H. Butz, Greg Butz, CEO, Alvin H. Butz, Stephen Behrens, Principal Architect of Breslin Ridge Federo, Joseph Guerra, Executive Director of Lehigh County Historical Society, Nancy Eckert, and Doris Kresley. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to introduce to you our principal, is Mr. Naomi Schlegel.
Thank you, Tom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tom Smith, our Executive Director of Facilities. Tom Smith is instrumental in making this beautiful school a reality. Tom takes great pride in his work, and it's evident everywhere you look in this incredible building. How about a nice round of applause for Tom Smith? Again, my name is Naomi Schlegel, and I'm fortunate enough to be principal here at Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes Elementary School. On behalf of everyone here at Hayes Elementary, welcome. So now we're going to move on to our remarks, and our first remark, I'm going to turn it over to President of the Allentown School District Board of Directors, Nancy Wilt.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a wonderful day for the Allentown School District as we celebrate the grand opening of the Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes Elementary School. On behalf of my fellow board members and those who served before me, who are the true visionaries of what this school is, it's an honor to be here with you today. I'm excited for the students and their families who will be attending this year, as well as our faculty and our community partners who will call the school home. Hayes is truly a school of the times, full of well-planned classrooms, current technology, and community space for our families to provide valuable services, support, and space to hold meetings and events. As we continue to work our way back to normalcy, I'm thrilled that we are able to gather today to celebrate this magnificent school and the board and staff that work so hard to ensure the best for our families and the boundless educational opportunities for the students who will walk these halls. Thank you.
Speaking next, Allentown School District Acting Superintendent Jennifer Ramos.
Mr. Schlegel, you definitely have a principal voice. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today, finally, for the official ribbon cutting. We've been here a while, and it's been a long journey to actually get us to this place. I had the distinct honor of being a part of the building design process from the very, very beginning. From the inception of the design, well before we even broke ground, there was significant, painstaking work to ensure that this building would stand the test of time, from both a physical design standpoint to an educational design standpoint. We know that Allentown buildings are made to last, but it was crucial that this building could stand the test of time as it relates to educational programming. And to do that, there was really one theme that shaped the design of this building, both inside and outside of the building, and that was collaboration. This building represents what true collaboration looks like. It represents collaboration within the community, collaboration within our internal stakeholders, collaboration among our teachers, our students, our staff, who would call this building their home for over 180 days a year. But what we learned was that the building design needed to be flexible enough for teachers and students to easily change spaces from small group to large group to individuals. We also learned we needed to be able to maximize every space within that building. Every nook in the hallway needed to be designed so that learning could take place on the fly. Today, when you tour the building, you'll see those spaces that have come to life. It's not just classrooms that you'll be looking at today when you tour. It's halls, it's walls, it's nooks, it's crannies. But probably I think the most special design element, one that we're probably the most proud of here in the district, is the community space. This building is probably one of the first of its kind here in the state of Pennsylvania, maybe further, where as a result of our community collaboration, there's an entire wing of a building within a building, that's dedicated to fostering community use. And during the design phase, Allentown District made it a point to ensure that the areas surrounding McKinley and Cleveland, the neighborhoods that would feed this school, were canvassed so community input could guide the use and design of this community building. We have a space ready for health partners to serve not just the Hayes building, but the community as a whole. There's a digital choice service food pantry that you'll get to tour today. There's an adult education space for the community, and the second floor of that building is designed solely for early childhood education and child care services. So I just wanted to close by saying Brigadier General Anna May Hayes Elementary School embodies what it means to be a community school. So thank you for coming, and I truly hope you enjoy your tours.
Excellent. Our next speaker is the President and CEO of Alvin H. Butz, Greg Butz.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to make a few remarks today. I read the history of Brigadier General Hayes' amazing accomplishments, and it's truly an honor to have built a building bearing her name. I'd like to thank the school board, as well as Tom Smith, for putting their trust in us to complete the project. Alvin H. Butz Incorporated has a long history of commitment to our community. We moved our headquarters to downtown Allentown 15 years ago for the sole purpose of helping to revive the city. As many of you know, we help mentor students at William Allen Construction Company, program my father founded that we're very proud of. We believe it's paying dividends to Allentown School District students. In fact, in the past few years, we actually hired two of the students who were CEOs of William Allen Construction Company who had gone on to college, Louis Justo and Christian Pungo. They're actually both here today and are two of our most enthusiastic and promising young employees. So it goes to show with the proper facilities, good mentors, and a great attitude, what the kids can accomplish. This new school is really special to us. We're so proud to have been involved in it. Completing a project like this takes a tremendous team effort, and Tom Smith and his staff, who did a spectacular job. Tom was just tremendous. The Breslin Architects team, who did the beautiful design of the building, and our team of Dirk Friend, Tom Granatino, Keith Zellner, and John Dillman, all work nicely together to achieve the results you see today. So thanks to all of you team members for your dedication and tremendous efforts. We're honored to have been a part of today's ceremony and to help celebrate the opening of the school. Thank you.
Moving on to the next part, the reflections, and first up speaking about Brigadier General Anna May Hayes is Executive Director of the Lehigh County Historical Society, Joseph Guerra.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is a high honor. It's a great day. I can tell you, General Hayes is up there looking down at all of us, and she's saying, mission accomplished. And she was a very mission-driven person. I had known General Hayes for about 13 years. And the reason I'm here today is to talk just a few minutes about her character. She had an abundance of character. to give you a little example of how she operated, and she had a very strong moral imperative. Think about a person going through life always wanting to be better tomorrow than you are today. That was the life of General Hayes. But I want to give you a couple of examples of her generosity and kindness. About 12, 13 years ago, we called her on the phone. We were having a reception in the museum for World War II veterans and a luncheon. And someone got the idea that, well, we ought to give General Hayes a call. Maybe we could say hello to her. Good idea. It wasn't planned. We called General Hayes on the phone. Sure enough, she answered. We told her what was going on. We told her we had 45 veterans in the library having lunch. Oh, she said, that's fantastic. I want to talk to every one of them. Everyone that wanted to talk to her, she spoke with. Then she said, I want to talk to Joe in the end. She got me back on the line and she said, why didn't you tell me about this? I might have come up for it. How much did this cost? And I said, well, it was probably $1,200. I'll pay for that. That's the least I can do for what these men did for our country. God bless them all. That was emblematic of General Hayes. We would go down to visit her frequently, and we didn't go for coffee and donuts. We would go to ask her questions about how did you become what you became, what was your route to success. One day I called her before we were going down, and I said, General, we have two interns here in the museum. They would like to meet you. Would it be possible? Bring them down, she says. Bring them down. So they came along. They drove with us. We always would go down, and we would go to lunch. She would take us to lunch at Fort Myers. She would always walk in. She would slip the maitre d' $50. She was very generous and kind. She always looked at the little person. If you had a job that maybe was difficult, she wanted to let you know that she admired and appreciated what you did. So she would give this one a tip and that one a tip. We had a wonderful lunch. And then she started to talk to these interns. And one of them had actually just graduated college. He had $80,000 of student debt. And I had talked to him about joining the military. His parents were totally against it. And so General Hayes brought it up that day, and she said, well, what do you plan on doing with your future? Well, he said, I don't know. I have this debt. Joe tells me I'm not going to be able to get a job in the world of history, so I don't know what's going to happen. She said, have you ever thought about the military? Oh, he said, yeah, my mother and father ruled that out. Oh, and why? She said, well, it's too dangerous. She said, I would submit to you that going out with your friends on a Friday night is more dangerous than being in the military. And that's the way she would talk to people. And by the time she got done, he came back to Allentown. He went to see the recruiter 3 days later. He enlisted in the U.S. Army, became a medic, got married, and that's going to be his career path. That's what General Hayes was always doing. And she was always working to make the world a better place. One time, when she was inducted into the Lehigh County Hall of Fame, she said, I can't possibly come up for the ceremony. I'm not that well. I'm not solid on my feet. I said, well, Jill, our assistant director, she could spend the weekend with you. Oh no, so I talked her into that. She came up and she said, you know, Joe, what really bothers me is it's not right that the Historical Society would have to send a key staff person to look after me for a few days while I'm here. No, I said, we're happy to do it. We're glad you came. And she went back to Washington. And 3 days later, she sent me a letter of apology and a check for $10,000. That was the kind of General Hayes was so generous. When you were at her home visiting her, her phone would ring repeatedly, and this is how it would go. Yeah, oh yes, I will take care of that. I'd be happy to make a donation. That's a great cause. So I would say this in closing. I said to her one day, how did you become so caring for other people? And she said, oh, it's really very simple. She said, you have to understand, my mother and my father were officers in the Salvation Army. What does the Salvation Army do? They help others. I learned when I was a child how important it was to help other people. Don't think of yourself. Turn it around. If you have anything to give someone, to donate. If you have any gifts whatsoever, spread them around. And that's been the story of my life, she said. And for those of you that are sitting out here today saying, wow, I wish I could have met General Hayes. We had the honor, myself and Jill Yunkin, who was our chief curator, assistant director, of spending hundreds and hundreds of hours with her. And there are those of you that say, I just wish I could have met General Hayes. Well, I would say this to you. If you've ever known compassion, generosity, forgiveness, empathy, and leadership, all rolled into one, that was General Hayes. Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here. General Hayes is looking down, thanking all of you. Thank you.
Our next speaker served as a nurse under Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes in both Vietnam and Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Eckert.
And the shortest, and I have the shortest to say. First of all, I would like to acknowledge all the dignitaries that are here today, and thank you for any of you all who have served our country. Good afternoon. My name is Nancy Eckert, and I have served on the McGinley Elementary School Leadership Council for several years now. I am honored and privileged to be here today to speak of Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes. I was a nurse in my past life. I also served under General Hayes' command since 1965, and I was with that command for 6 years. Today I also represent, as a Vietnam veteran, Vietnam Veterans Chapter 415, that's Vietnam Veterans of America, of the Lehigh Valley. As a child, I grew up on the south side, excuse me, of Allentown. I attended Jefferson Elementary School, South Mountain Junior High School, Allentown High School. During my, I cannot even begin to tell you what an emotion it was for me to walk into this building the very first time for a tour, to walk into the rotunda and see this magnificent structure, thinking to myself what it was like at Jefferson, what it was like at Allentown High School, where my mother and father went to school as well. I was in awe of the big windows, the bright sunlight, the handicapped accessibility, the amazing library y'all have, and large classrooms with a music room solely dedicated to music, a room solely dedicated to art, a room solely dedicated to choral music. Wow, certainly not like any school I had ever attended in the past. During my tour of duty under Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes, I was reminded of her deep and sincere need of education and molding of the nursing arts, emphasizing on compassion, respect, and the future of where a nurse should be, and the need to create an environment of proficiency and technical skills and achievements. This new school takes me back to her in her reference one day as a school is a garden. In a garden, we till the soil, and that's our students. We bring them in on the beginning of September. We begin with the tilling of their knowledge, their abilities to grow in the art of learning. They are seeds that we plant in them, something called knowledge. The garden is fed with nutrients, those nutrients being books, teachers, in-services, outside experiences. The general always felt that the preparation of a student for the future is necessary to lead, guide, and be a valued part of today's ever-changing face and need for well-educated students. We call it today STEM, science, technology, education, and mathematics. I met the general when I was, excuse me, I get a little verklempt, as they say. I met the general when I was stationed at the 93rd Evacuation Hospital in Long Binh, Vietnam. She was stunning, absolutely stunning in her uniform. She took great pride to be able to wear it. She took the Army Corps and brought it from a point beyond to the future. Because of her tenacity and deep feelings, today a young girl, and even now a boy, may enter the United States Army, after they finish high school, of course, go to college, receive a PhD in nursing, command a combat unit, become the Corps director, and have the utmost respect as being a member of the United States Army Nurse Corps. Today it is an honor to acknowledge a woman of great humbleness, focused on watching the seed of education planted in her name right here in this building. I always will remember her grace and dignity and respect. As a Vietnam veteran, it was one of the things that we did every Sunday before Memorial Day. We would go to Washington to something called Rolling Thunder. Now that's when all the motorcycles that are Vietnam veterans come from all around the world to gather, to drive from the Pentagon down to Constitution Avenue to the Lincoln Memorial to honor those who borne the battle. From the time she moved into the Knollwood Retirement Facility on that day, she would be on her veranda, which overlooked the mall, waving to every one of the soldiers that are Navy officers or whatever they were that came in respect for her as well. May her name take us into the future of education, just as a lady named Florence Nightingale did on the battlefield. I want to thank you very much for having me here, and I would like you to join me in watching the seed of education grow here at this brand new school. Thank you.
Next, we have the Honorable Pennsylvania State Senator Pat Brown.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the Pennsylvania Senate, I'm proud to be here with our school board members, our administrators, our principals, our teachers, to dedicate and to join you in christening Allentown's newest community asset. As you can see, a shining beacon of 21st century opportunity for Allentown's children and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been, of course, many unfortunate casualties of our collective ongoing pandemic experience over the last 18 months. Beyond the most compelling of our cherished, loved, and lost, one regrettable casualty was the inability of our nation to give due honor and reverence to those whose extraordinary sacrifice has made life worthwhile and meaningful for all of us in the first place. Summer of 2020, as you all know, marked the 75th anniversary of the global victory of human dignity over tyranny and oppression with VE and VJ Day and the end of World War II. And although 12 months ago, given the gravity of our current challenges, it was difficult to focus our community, our state's, or our nation's attention on the significance of these occasions, we must continue to find opportunities, both in the simple rhythms of the burial day and in the milestones which mark our future, where our community must pause and reflect on the remarkable gifts and sacrifices bestowed on all of us, 3/4 of a century since past, to ensure a solid, inspiring foundation for the generations to come. Today, on behalf of many worthy children and families of Allentown, now and the days to come, is such an opportunity. For the millions of Pennsylvania families immersed 75 years ago in the maelstrom of war in theaters throughout the globe and on the home front, the costs were unimaginable. Yet their cause came with an indispensable faith in the sanctity of the American experience, that each individual has value, that each person's goals and dreams are only limited by their desire to attain them. It was in this greatest threat to the true value of the human condition that the historic, trailblazing path of Anna Mae Hayes began. With distinguished service to her flag and her country over 3 decades, she became a standard bearer of American virtue. To the shining symbol of what became Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes, we know, and all those who follow us will know, that with the promise of equality and freedom, a commitment to excellence, and an unmitigated dedication to service, there is truly opportunity for all. It is upon this historic legacy of both individual and collective human achievement that there can be no better platform for which to launch and dedicate our city's newest investment in opportunity. An extraordinary community asset, indispensable to fulfilling the future promise of generations of Allentown's children. The cutting-edge equipment and facilities contained in this 21st century learning institution, our children will thrive to develop their skills to their fullest potential. To the excellent professionals who dedicate their competencies to the latest developments in learning, our students will be immersed day in and day out in the wonders of educational attainment. To the integration of programming with the diversity which enriches experiences, both inside and outside the classroom door, children will all understand, in the spirit of their schools most honored, that their uniqueness is the true source of their strength, their individuality is the true path to their success. Ladies and gentlemen, due to nothing less than an extraordinary commitment by the professionals of the Allentown School District to a facility of the highest standards and the highest quality, the citizens of Allentown can be supremely confident that the administrators, professionals, and educators will be fully equipped to direct the collective diverse community of this institution to a future without limits. But only with the promise fulfilled of fulfillment embodied in the legacy of this institution's most honored Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes and other beacons like her, that each and every child will be truly prepared for it, prepared for the remarkable journey of opportunity for all, worthy of the sacrifices of those who came before us, accessible to all those we cherish among us, attainable by all those we anticipate to follow us. The hopes and dreams fulfilled of Allentown's children, enriching, inspiring us now, and those we collectively covet are yet to come. Thank you and congratulations to all of you.
Next up, we have Pennsylvania State Representative Peter Schweier.
Thank you very much. First of all, hello everyone. How's everybody doing today? Mr. Principal, where are you at? There you are. Right behind you. We're in the auditorium, right? People are allowed to talk in this room, right? This is the one room where we encourage folks to have a little noise and have a little excitement, right? So how's everybody doing today? Miss Phoebe, you're going to help me out more than that, right? I know you come on, we're going to be a little louder than that. Look at how great this is. Look at this remarkable building that we're in. Much like real life, Senator Brown came prepared. I'm just winging it right now. So thank you, Senator Brown, for showing us all how to do homework before we come here. And I'm going to show you all how to wing it right now. Folks, on behalf of my colleague and my friend, Representative Mike Schlossberg, who's represented ably by his assistant, Jeff Brace, who's over to my behind me on my left, I'd like to welcome you all to this incredible facility and congratulate everybody from the school district on a remarkable well done. You know, I'd actually like to have a brief conversation, not as state representative, but as a resident of the city of Allentown, and more importantly, as an ASD dad. I'm going to embarrass him right now. Mr. Powell, you knew I wasn't going to do this without embarrassing my daughters. My daughters, Sarah and Erin, over here. Sarah's going to be a freshman at William Allen this year, and Erin, who's waving to Principal Powell, as you can tell, is going to be a fifth grader over at Lehigh Parkway. This building means more to the school district than just simply a new building with better HVAC, with better lighting, with better technology. This building is more than a place for our parents to send their kids for an educational opportunity. This building represents something more than that. It has been a long, long time since our school district, has been able to dedicate a building that we could all be so incredibly proud of. Ramos, Mr. Butz, Ramos was dedicated, what, about 10 years ago now? Maybe even longer? We had the renovations of Trexler, the renovations of South Mountain, Allen, and Deer a few years before that, but we don't do this often enough. When I rolled into the parking lot here with Sarah and Erin, they were like, wow, this is an elementary school? This doesn't look like parking. I'm like, no, it doesn't. This looks like the future of education, not only here in Allentown, but throughout the Lehigh Valley. It's a symbol to all of the communities around us, but most importantly, to all of us ASD parents, that our community is able to come together to build something that we could all be incredibly proud of for our children. Something that we could be incredibly proud of and look as an example of what we can do so long as we all have the courage to continue to make this stuff happen. See, there's no reason why we don't have more buildings like this, more facilities like this for all of our children. This demonstrates to us all that this is possible, that we are able to pull ourselves up with the work of everybody behind me, everybody in front of me, every parent, every teacher, every school administrator, every building supervisor, that we have the ability to provide our children with nothing less than the absolute most that they deserve and they should expect from all of us. I'm so excited to be here today, not just simply because it's a cool building and we're in a room where people are eventually allowed to talk back to us. It's not just a building where we all get a chance, where our kids get a chance to learn, but again, it is a symbol of something bigger than that. And together, our school district, which, let's be perfectly candid with each other here, sometimes gets a bad rap, unfairly I might add, is able to show everybody around us, demonstrate a remarkable amount of competence, a remarkable amount of forward thinking, and build something that all of us can be proud of and can serve as an example of what we should be doing, I would argue we will be doing in the coming months and coming years. Our kids deserve no less than that. And again, as a parent, I want to echo sentiments that Senator Brown said. Last year was hard. It's hard as a parent to make sure our kids had the technology that they needed, but I know it was incredibly hard to all of our teachers, all of our building administrators, and all of our folks with the school district, not just in Allentown, but throughout. It was a really terrible and really difficult year, but I know our kids did extraordinarily well because of your professionalism, your dedication. And again, as a parent, forget being a state representative for a moment, but as a parent, I wholeheartedly want to thank you all. Sarah and Erin over there, 17,000 other kids in our city are in a better place because of your tireless efforts in extraordinarily difficult challenges. You have my word, and I know this is always the dangerous part. but I know I speak on behalf of all of my colleagues in elected office standing behind me, our school board members and city council people in front of us, that we know that we're all in this together, that we're going to continue to do the very best with you for our children, because our community deserves no less. And so without going on any further, again, on behalf of my colleague and friend, Representative Schlossberg, his wife herself is a teacher in our school district. I have a small proclamation that I won't bore you with, but I want to congratulate you on the opening of this building on behalf of the students that are going to be here, but more importantly, on behalf of the students across our district. We're going to continue to see this as an example of what we can do so long as we work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Lehigh County Executive Phil Armstrong.
Wow, you've been sitting here so patiently. And first thing I thought of when I got here was the Allentown School Board, administration, faculty, and Mr. Butz. If you build it, they will come. And wow, did they build it. And I listened to some great words being said prior to my getting here. And the word collaboration was the key that I came about hearing today. That we have people that can actually work together to get things like this accomplished. Education is the future. I've been in public education myself for 40 years, and I know how important it is. And it's facilities like this that will help improve the young minds of our residents and will help keep our city of Allentown and the county of Lehigh being the #1 in the state for meeting goals for growth, manufacturing, education, and healthcare. I'm very, very proud to stand here today with a proclamation from the Board of Commissioners and myself. And like Mr. Schweier, I'm not going to read the whereases because the whereases don't matter. What matters is what's going to be happening in this building and what an advantage it's going to be for the students that are going to come through the doors. And I'm sure the parents who will be supporting all of the activities that are coming here. The mayor and I were talking right before this, and he said, are you going to read your proclamation after being in education? I said, nah, education is just overwhelming. And it's buildings like this that overwhelm us to be so proud to be part of it. And Lehigh County is so proud to be part of this also. So congratulations, Allentown School District. This is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Take care.
Over there. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, next is the City of Allentown Mayor, the Honorable Ray O'Connell.
Good afternoon. I am honored and humbled to be here today. It was a short several months ago that I was at a ceremony at the PPL Center. And at that ceremony, 35 Allentown School District students got a diploma from the high school, Allen Deerp in Building 21, and they got a 2-year degree from Lehigh Carbon Community College. Quite a feat. My career has spanned 38 years with the Allentown School District. I walked into Moser Elementary School in 1972. Came from a little village called Hockendakwa. Never saw brown children. Never saw black children. I fell in love with them. My entire career went from Moser Elementary School to Robb Junior High. I know, but remember the junior high days. And then we went to middle schools. And we lost some good sports players over the years going to middle schools. Then I went from Robb Junior High to Truxton Middle School. I was there for 19 years. That was a good job. I had great parent engagement. I had great kids. I worked for great superintendents. From there, I went down to the administration building, and I ended my career in 2010 as the executive director of secondary education. Spent 38 years in education. Education, it's a cliche, is our future. Like Mr. Armstrong said, education is the future. The youth and education are our future. When I think back of my career, all the people I have met, the children, the parents, the grandchildren, the aunts, the uncles. I had a grandchild, 5 years old, started kindergarten yesterday. She's all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So I came home, I said, Kennedy, what did you do today? What do all kids say? Nothing. Well, just tell me one thing you did today. She says, Pop, it's a secret. I said, what do you mean it's a secret? I can't tell you. I'll tell you tomorrow. So I'm waiting today what she's going to tell me. But I'm very honored and humbled to be here. I bleed Allentown, the city of Allentown. I bleed the Allentown School District. When I was younger, being Irish, I would get my Irish up sometimes, and I would be with people from suburban districts, and they would say, oh, you work in Allentown? I said, yeah, I work in Allentown, and I'm damn proud of it. And said, well, that's not a great school district. I said, you want to step outside for a minute or two? I'll show you how good of a school district we are. We are a good school district. We have good kids. We have good parents. We have excellent educators. We have excellent administrators. Now we're going to go to the next generation. This is the future. A little bit better than Cleveland, a little bit better than McKinley. Kids, you are so fortunate. Teachers, you are so fortunate to come into a building like this, the technology. And when I was working for the school district a long time ago, I was part of a building committee, a planning committee, for the 9th grade wing at Allen High School and the 9th grade wing at Durham High School. And I believe the Butz corporate, I believe you guys did that too, right? And I remember your senior person, big tall guy, Tom? I don't know, everyone forgets his name. But again, I am honored to be here. I am humbled to be here. Great school year. Let's hope. Let's pray. 5 days a week. We know we have to wear masks, but let's get our kids back where they belong. Schools, schools, schools. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Anna Mays Elementary School. Take care.
Here today on behalf of State Congresswoman Susan Wild, we have Selena Winchester.
I was nervous about tripping up the steps. But good afternoon. On behalf of the Office of Congresswoman Susan Wild, member of the House Education Committee, I want to congratulate the Allentown School District on the grand opening of the Anna Mae Hayes Elementary School. Brigadier General Hayes is a graduate of Allentown High School and Allentown General Hospital School of Nursing. She went on to break a lot of grounds as the first woman to reach higher heights in the military right up until her retirement from the Army in 1971. I'm going to spare you the rest of the details, but Brigadier General Hayes Elementary School is poised to lay the foundation for young students to reach higher heights as they move up their academic ladder. Congratulations again on behalf of the opening of a new school in Allentown.
Thank you. Before we move on in our program, I did want to recognize here with us today some of the City of Allentown Council members. We have with us Candida Affa and Daryl Hendricks. Thank you for coming. Next up to speak about building design is Stephen Behrens, Principal, Breslin, Ridyard, Federo Architects.
What a distinguished group of people to have to follow. It is an honor to be here to celebrate the opening of Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes Elementary School. The process really began a while ago in 2016 and 2017 with facilities assessments of the district's school buildings, all of them. It identified deficiencies and explored both renovation and new construction options relative to programmatic demands, and exposed the fiscal burden that maintaining the two most distressed elementary schools, Cleveland and McKinley, would place on the district as they continued to age. What emerged was a decision to combine and replace both buildings. This property, central to and within the community of the two schools, was acquired for the construction of the new building. It measures a mere 230 by 580 feet. It straddles a transition between medium-density residential and light manufacturing areas. The confined and rectilinear configuration presented numerous challenges. Among these were the need to accommodate an economic program for over 800 students, space for services to support a community school, truck and service access, separate bus and car circulation, staff parking, a 3,000 square foot playground, all on about 3 acres. Sensitivity to surrounding neighborhood, in particular the row homes across West Gordon Street, was a chief design consideration. Brick and stone masonry materials were employed to be sensitive to the context. And the actual breakup of the glass curtain walls above were reflective of the row home rhythm that was across the street. The expanses of glazing also enabled abundant natural light and views into the teaching areas. Other features, such as student silhouettes etched into the granite on the outside and anthropomorphic columns at the building entrances that got nicknamed Gumby by the contractors, it all provided a familiarity and a playfulness appropriate to the elementary program. The main entrances are located on both sides to the north and south of the building's central lobby. Here the glass extends from top to bottom to present a welcoming feel to the community while integrating multiple layers of security. It forms a dramatic link between the academic wing on the other side and the core facility wing that we're in now. On the upper levels, a bridge and 2 overlooks offer unique and memorable instructional spaces, as well as what I call the dream big views in both directions, to the south, to the center city skyline, and to the north, above the lower slung structures. The Blue Mountain is visible in the distance. The lobby becomes a creative instructional space with terrazzo on the floor that features an analog clock dial that's coordinated with a compass rose and overlaid with a sun path. You'll see that as the watermark on your program today. The project's educational goals, equity of access, safety, personalized learning, technology integration are all core values expressed in the building's design, with a wide variety of spaces scaled for the full range of instruction, from a single student and instructor in an overlook to an entire grade level or more, like we're seeing in the possibility in this multi-purpose room. The building becomes a flexible and easily adaptable teaching environment. Energy efficiency, resource management, durability, and low maintenance were also top of mind during the design to reduce the burden on future budgets and operations. Evaluating the life cycle cost of materials along with their first cost will pay dividends to the district in years to come. Bringing together the right stakeholders was a critical part of the process. Cabinet level administration joined the design team to review best and emerging practices in elementary schools and toured peer district sites. Countless meetings with building level administration and teachers covered many granular details. I can still remember the first meeting with teachers where the question was, will the building be air conditioned? As they warmed up to the design process, they quickly realized we were setting the bar much higher than that. Tom Smith and his team of facilities, the operations, security folks, the list goes on. Another important player on the team was the construction manager, Alvin H. Butz. They were key contributors throughout the process, but demonstrated particular strength in navigating the challenges of the construction in the midst of the COVID shutdown. So Hayes Elementary School is a major milestone for the Allentown School District in its commitment to renewing its instructional resources for the 21st century. It exemplifies the district's vision for creating state-of-the-art learning environments that are safe, nurturing to students, and fully integrated in their communities. It was truly a pleasure for me and an honor to work with these many folks contributing to the project. Without everybody's input, it would not have been the great success it is today. I encourage you to walk around on the tours afterwards and see for yourself. Thanks very much.
Next up on the program, we have talking points about the building design, and going first, a fourth grade teacher here at Hayes Elementary, Lauren Rosado.
This is just awesome. The school, love it. I've been to a bunch of schools. I'm going off script, but I've been to a bunch of schools in Allentown, and ooh, this is definitely the best, so thank you. Perhaps the most unique aspect of Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes Elementary is the attached community building. During the early stages of planning the new elementary school, the Allentown School District polled the community to gather their thoughts on what should exist within the community building. The top 4 needs shared from the community make up the 4 areas of the community building. The top floor of the community building contains 4 classrooms designed for early childhood education. Another need identified by the community was more accessibility to health providers. Due to this need, a large section of the community building on the first floor is set aside for a health provider. Also found on the first floor are the last 2 needs identified, a food pantry and a space for adult education. The large food pantry area has sufficient space for dry storage, as well as refrigerators and freezers. Lastly, the adult education classroom offers a classroom with an exterior door that can be utilized by a multitude of providers for a variety of purposes to better the community.
Speaking next about the beautiful playground here at Hayes Elementary, kindergarten teacher Aubrey Beitelman.
Hello. As I'm sure you've noticed on your way in today, Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes Elementary School has a beautiful outside playground area. The playground has 2 main structures designed for the different ages of the students here at Hayes. The structures are painted in Hayes Elementary colors, blue and green. In addition to the 2 large structures, there are several freestanding smaller structures that are interactive for students and have a musical theme. Thanks to a generous donation from Phantom Charities presented by Air Products, Melvin's Fun Zone was added to the playground area. The donated orange, purple, and blue colors mimic those of the Lehigh Valley Phantoms mascot, Melvin. This contribution is important to the Phantoms Charities because it emphasizes health and fitness and focuses on children being active and having fun. The ADA accessible orange Volta inclusive spinner is a student favorite among the 5 pieces. With the donation, the playground area quickly filled up, which now gives students a variety of options when on the playground.
Next up, we have 3rd grade teacher here from Hayes Elementary, Katie Clersey.
Hello. So throughout Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes Elementary School, there are a variety of instructional spaces to accommodate all types of learning. There are many tables sprinkled throughout the hallways of the school that were perfect for one-on-one instruction or small group direct instruction. Each floor has a flexible collaborative learning room that can be utilized in a variety of ways simply by moving the glass pane partitions. This flexibility allows the space to accommodate all types of learners and group sizes for collaborative learning. Lastly, the school has a large group instruction space that can seat up to 60 students comfortably, which is an ideal location for classes to pair up for lessons or activities. Thank you.
And speaking about our last talking point, students from here at Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes Elementary, we have Zanaya Nealis, Siri Torres, and Rihanna Hidalgo.
Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes Elementary School has specifically designed spaces for just about everything happening at this state-of-the-art school. Currently, we are in the multi-purpose room that contains a full stage. During a typical school day, the multi-purpose room is split into two sections by a large wall. On this side of the room, physical education classes and assemblies are held. The side closer to the main lobby serves as the cafeteria.
Another specifically designed space is the instrumental music room. The instrumental music room features wood slats to help with the acoustics of the classroom. In addition, the room features a large storage area for instruments and noise cancellation, hardware attached to the door. Located across the hallway from the office area is the community room. The community room is a unique space that offers a meeting space for students, parents, and community stakeholders. In addition, the space houses donations from food to uniforms that are offered to the families of Hayes students in need.
On the third floor above where we sit houses, in my opinion, the two most incredible rooms in the school, the art room and the library. The art room contains pottery, wheels and kiln, an exhausted hood, and 5 sinks to accommodate hands-on artwork for all students across all mediums. The art room also houses a display space that faces the hallway and also for students' artwork and sculptures to be displayed. The library is a large space filled with technologies and books to help the students of Hayes Elementary. In addition, the library has an assortment of flexible seating options for students as well as a meeting room. The library also offers beautiful views of downtown Allentown.
Thank you, Rihanna. The next part of the program is the unveiling of Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes Memorial Dedication Wall, and that will be done by our assistant principal here at Hayes Elementary, Juliet Saba.
The heritage of the past is the seed that brings forth the harvest of the future. This quote was special to Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes. It was so special that she expressed it during her response at her swearing in as Chief of the Army Nurse Corps. At that time, she was stating her happiness with the expansion involvement of the Army Nurse Corps during the wars that our country faced during the mid-20th century. She was very proud of the goals achieved by the Nurse Corps, and she also comprehended the value of continually setting goals and meeting future objectives in her work. In her time as chief, she focused on the future of nursing and its impact on our military by blending the emphasis of patient care with the demands of medical technology. Hayes believed that education was the only way to achieve those perceptions, and at the time as chief, she became the first woman in U.S. Army history to be recognized in rank as general officer. The achievement of Brigadier General all began with the dreams of this Allentown girl. Whether it was her education starting at Central Junior High and Allentown High School, or her graduation in nursing from the Allentown General Hospital School, or her enrollment in the military during World War II, or her service as an Army nurse, Hayes was never hesitant to be a leader. A trailblazer in military nursing and nursing education, Hayes became the first female to reach the rank of Brigadier General in U.S. military history, leaving a legacy as a humble revolutionary of her time that will continue to live on in the future of all Hayes students. At this time, Mr. Schlegel and I are very proud to honor the legacy of Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes with the unveiling of a memorial wall dedicated to her life's work and achievement. As you can see, the wall displays key events from Hayes' life, including the opening of our beautiful school. You may further view the wall as you exit our multi-purpose room. Thank you.
Prior to today's ribbon cutting ceremony, here at the school we had a time capsule dedication ceremony that took place on June 9th, 2021, and was held outside of the school. The ceremony offered a tribute to Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes, as well as Hayes retiring teachers who spoke about the Hayes Elementary core values, mascot selection process, school-wide expectations, and the logo. Selected fifth grade students shared their narratives about their experience during the first year of school here at Hayes Elementary, talking in great detail about both virtual learning and finally having the opportunity to come to in-person schooling here at Hayes. The students' narratives, as well as artifacts from the inaugural year of Hayes Elementary, as well as artifacts from both McKinley and Cleveland elementary schools, were all packed into the time capsule. The ceremony concluded with the time capsule being sealed into the cornerstone at the front corner of the school facing 12th and Gordon Streets. Next up in our program, doing the family remarks, is the niece of Anna Mae Hayes, Doris Kresley.
First and foremost, my aunt was a nurse. Growing up, we didn't know any of the really wonderful things she did. And I've learned so much about her, actually, since she died, listening to people speak about her, and you pick up tidbits here and there. I'm sometimes really surprised by things that I've learned. You surprised me today, Joe. I didn't learn anything new from you today. Maybe I've heard most of it by now. I don't mean that to be a put down, but he knows so much about her that I never did, that it's kind of interesting. The one thing I suppose I'd like to leave with you from me personally, the niece, about her was you have to put her in context. When I was teaching my students, I'm a science prof from NAC for the last 30-some years, I would notice that my students would forget about context. We could be talking about Charles Darwin or any other great scientific discovery, and they'd still kind of imagine it in today's venue. So when you think about her, don't think about her in today's place. Think about it as it was when she was going through. She served in World War II, she served in Korea, and she served in Vietnam. And one progression that I noticed was her reaction about the soldiers she lost. As I said, she was a nurse first. From Joe, I learned that she considered, and I guess everybody else in that hospital did, penicillin to be worth more than gold. People that today would get a 5-day worth of drugs would have died then, and many of them did, as a result of not having antibiotics to treat them from possibly a minor injury on the field. And that bothered her. She knew it was there. She knew they were using it as much as they could, but the decision would come down to who gets the gold and who do you say goodbye to. By the time she was in Korea, there were plenty of antibiotics around. So soldiers were not dying from wounds in that way. She felt that they were dying more so than they should be because they couldn't get to the hospitals fast enough. Transporting them from where they were injured in the field till they got to the hospital, the closest field hospital, cost a lot of them their lives. Now, considering her rank and putting her in context, in World War II, she was a lowly lieutenant. And in the military, rank has its privileges. She had none. In Nam, she had all the privileges you could have in terms of making sure things were where they should be. And she didn't brag about it, but she would tell me that every soldier is within 10 minutes of an emergency facility. So if a soldier was injured in Vietnam, the equipment was there to have him medevaced to a hospital operating room if that was necessary. Now, lots of soldiers died in Nam, but the nursing was up, so much greater than what it was in World War II. I have no clue what the ORs are like in the wars that we're fighting now and what the causes of death were, but that was, to me, her focus. Now, the second thing I want to do, and I'm going to go back on what you said, I want to talk to the kids who are out here who are trying not to fall asleep. There are bits of what is going on and possibly what I'm saying that's not terribly exciting. If you'd like to come up, I'm going to tell you a couple of secrets about her. Anybody interested in hearing some of the Hayes, McCabe, Presley dirty laundry? What's that?
Peppermint candy.
Oh, she wouldn't have had candy. She would have had candy. She would have had candy here if she were here today, but it would have been Godiva and Russell Stover's. Can you at least wave to me? Stand up so I can see everybody I'm talking to. Do you want to know some of her secrets? No? You want to hear a secret? Good. One of them, besides all of these wonderful things that she was a pain in the butt. When she would come to visit us, I didn't know any of these wonderful things she was doing. I had no appreciation for her accomplishments until I was at least 15, so that's definitely older than any kids that are here today. And when we were little, well, maybe up until about 10, and that's not so little, my sister and I would greet her at the door when she would come to the house. We were all prepped to do that. But the first thing she would do is she would inspect our fingernails. If they were clean, we could give her a hug. So we were not too excited about Aunt Anna Mae coming for too many visits. We would have to go to bed earlier than usual. We would have to get up earlier than usual. And when she was visiting, we ran around wherever she was going in the Lehigh Valley with her. And when it was time to visit with my parents, she expected to sit on the sofa and have me over here and my sister over here, sitting silently until she was finished with the grown-up conversations. So we were not really too excited to have her around. But the other thing that's really more important that I talk to the kids about is, I love this logo. An H and a star, and I kept thinking all week, I love the stars. If I were a teacher in the school, my classroom would be covered with stars. Kids would be wearing stars. Stars would be rewards. I would do fist bumps with stars, and I would be shouting, "Shine on." She would love this place. You have the opportunity here to do so many more things than she could ever have done in school. And another thing before I sit down is directing again back to the kids. just to give your egos a little bit of a boost, I would bet that most of the kids in this school can do two things now that she was never in her life able to do. I would bet most of the children here can speak a language besides English. Can you? If you can't, I hope you make friends with people who can't, so that you learn more languages than just English, if that's what you speak. If you speak Spanish, learn the English, and maybe somebody speaks French or Swahili or something else too. Make this world smaller. She never learned to do that, and she even lived in Spain for quite a while after she retired. The second thing that I would bet almost every kid in this school can do right now, better than she could when she was 60 and entertaining, is cook. I was surprised you didn't hit on that, Joe.
Well, she could go out and buy it.
She could take you out for dinner, and she always did, and that's because she had no clue how to cook it. When you went to visit her, she could give you cereal for breakfast. She always had a selection of cereals with some great fruit, so it was fresh and tasty. And if you came back after a morning of running around, she could make a sandwich. And that is the end of her culinary capabilities. Even at her funeral, people were talking about how she didn't know how to make a cup of coffee. She one time gave someone who was coming to her house, and she was going to impress them with some pastry she had bought. She gave him coffee grounds, the ground up stuff, and had him use it like you would use instant coffee. So if you kids can do more than make a sandwich if you're hungry, and if you can speak part of a language that's not English, you have more talent right now in those areas than she ever did. And my point to you would be, everybody in this world has talents. Everybody in this world has things they don't do very well. And you have to learn how to use your talents and show them off. The last thing I'm going to say is, one way in which everybody in this room is an equalizer, or is equalized, is we're limited by time. You can be famous as she was. You can be not famous at all. You can be quiet, shy, and hardly ever talk to people. You can be active and outgoing. But everybody in this room has 24 hours in a day. And it makes a difference how you use that time. You don't have any more time. She didn't have any more time in a day than we do. So in kind of showing another side of her, I just want to let you all know. Think about your own talents and shine on. Thank you.
And now it's the time everyone has been waiting for. The ribbon cutting will take place out in our immaculate main lobby. Everyone is welcome to gather in the lobby, or you can stay seated here and watch the ribbon cutting being streamed on the screen behind me. The ribbon cutting will conclude today's ceremony. However, anyone who is interested in taking a tour of this beautiful school can return here to the multi-purpose room after the ribbon cutting to get a tour of the building. We'll pair you up with the tour guides. Last thing I'd like to say is, on behalf of the Allentown School District, the Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes staff, and the incredible students, thank you for attending today's event, and we all look forward to what promises to be many memorable years here at Hayes. Thank you. And we like you in the picture.